But I did see a face,
Duncan protested.
The boulder had a face, and it was staring me down before it vanished. That is. Right, just like you saw that ghost on the old iron bridge. Well, I did see, at least I think, well, you've obviously thought wrong. Twice now. Christ, I thought you were annoying when all you did was moan about trivial things. I'd take that Duncan over the hyper-paranoid one any day. But, you know what? Screw you, Sandal. Screw all of you for that matter. None of you take me seriously. I hope each and every single one of you tonight has an encounter with something half as terrifying as what I saw. That'd shut your traps up real quick.
The engine said nothing. Duncan was clearly in distress, though none of them knew how to help him. The next day, Duncan was waiting at Rheneas station for his passengers to board when Rusty rolled up with a maintenance train. Hey Duncan, I just wanted to say that I'm sorry, and that I know what you're going through.
Don't bother. It won't change what's happened.
You're right, it won't. However, my experience with that rock hasn't been all that different from yours. Sure, it didn't stare me down and then disappear, but when we were reopening that quarry, I swore it was watching me. That sounds odd, I know, but I swear it's true. Several little things happened during my time up there that just added to my suspicions.
Little things? Like what?
Oh, simple things like rocks falling in the most precarious of places, or dynamite going off by itself, tools going missing, stuff like that. It all led up to its eventual rampage, the aftermath of which you helped to clean up. I believe all of that was a message telling us to leave that part of the island alone, a warning which we continued to ignore.
Thank you for telling me all this, Rusty. These past few weeks have really shaken me up. I cannot tell you what's real and what's not anymore, but it's nice to know that someone else understands.
Of course, you're not alone in this, Duncan, and I don't want you feeling like you are, alright?
Thanks again, Rusty.
No problem, Duncan. After Rusty's encouragement, Duncan felt infinitely better. He still felt a bit shaky, though now that he knew he had someone who could help him through it, Duncan began to feel as though things would eventually return to normal. As the weeks passed, the weather changed. Strong rains bucketed the island, and the engines felt miserable. One morning, the thin controller came to the sheds.
There's been a wash-up the line. The bridge near Lakeside has been swept away by the storm. Rusty, you must take some workmen to repair the damage immediately. The rest of you will be stuck here until the bridge is repaired.
Yes, sir. And Rusty set off. He collected the workmen and set off up the line towards the bridge. Hours passed, and night was beginning to creep in. Rusty still hadn't returned, and the engines were wondering where he could be. Presently, the thin controller strode up to the sheds.
As I'm sure you've all noticed, Rusty is not back yet. We have been trying to radio the workmen all day, though we've had nothing back. We believe the bad weather is interfering with the radios, and since the area is only accessible by rail, I'll need one of you to run up the line with some workmen to check on them in case there's been an accident. I will go, sir,
Duncan said quickly. The others were surprised.
Rusty's a good friend, and I know he'd do the same for me. Very well then, Duncan. I'll phone your crew. They should be here before too long.
Within the hour, Duncan's crew had fired him up and he was on his way. A Alone in the darkness, Duncan couldn't help but feel nervous. Memories from weeks ago came flooding back, and the heavy rains only seemed to make his fears stronger. But he pressed on, thinking of Rusty all alone, wherever he was. Duncan went slowly, just in case Rusty and the men were on their way down. As he rolled on down the line, he couldn't help but notice a low rumbling sound way off in the distance, like something heavy was rolling along miles ahead.
No, it's not that. It can't be that. It disappeared from the quarry weeks ago.
But even though he tried, Duncan couldn't convince himself it was something else. Before long, Duncan had arrived at the bridge. Rusty was nowhere to be found.
Rusty! Rusty, it's me! We're here for you! If you're out there, let us know!
No reply. Duncan crept slowly forward. And then, one of the workmen called out, "Hey! Over there! On the riverbank!" Duncan looked over and saw a brake van sitting on the edge of the river beneath the bridge.
That's Rusty's van! But that must mean...
Duncan rolled slowly forward and onto the bridge, where his suspicions were confirmed. There, in the shallow, rushing waters of the stream, sat Rusty and the rest of his train, seemingly having fallen off the end of the bridge.
Rusty! It's Duncan, I'm up here! What happened to you? Are you alright?
Again, no answer. Rusty simply stared emotionlessly at the water in front of him.
Aye, Rusty! Can you hear me? I've come to help you out of...
Duncan froze. Through the darkness, he saw something sitting on the line on the other end of the bridge. It was large and perfectly spherical. Though he couldn't see to be sure, Duncan could feel whatever it was his eyes piercing right through him. And then, only a few seconds later, the object slowly rolled backwards and into the night.